This week's episode of Mind Gap Podcast is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids Macaroni and Cheese. You've heard all about sweet and savory meals, but what about sweet, savory, and sour? Introducing Sour Patch Kids Macaroni and Cheese. That's right, Delaware's favorite candy is now joining the mac and cheese game because fuck you, that's why. Just boil your noodles, add your cheese sauce, then top it off with a colorful array of gummy, sweet and sour bits of Sour Patch Kids, and get ready to feel a spike of energy and then crash into a diabetic coma, all within 30 minutes. Sour Patch Kids Macaroni and Cheese is the perfect addition to any meal, whether it be your 4th of July barbecue, your mom's birthday, or breakfast. Head on over to sweetsavoryandsour.com now and order your boxes of Sour Patch Kids Macaroni and Cheese today. Enter the code MINDGAP at checkout to get 10% off your next insulin purchase. That's Sour Patch Kids Macaroni and Cheese, your gateway to a sweet, savory, and sour demise. Hey dorks, just a quick message reminding you to head over to twitch.tv/MindGapPodcast and give us a follow. We live stream when we record our new podcast episodes, and we're live streaming video game sessions on Saturday nights at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. We're playing super rad stuff like Among Us, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, Jackbox games, and Tabletop Simulator. Come hang out and play along with us. That's twitch.tv/MindGapPodcast. Hello there again, friends! Justin and I are joined this week by the incredible human Seth Trammell, or as some of you may know him from the Twitch stream, Slutty Bartfast. We discussed Amazon Prime's new watch party feature and whether we think this will work as a good substitute for the movie theater experience. Seth also brings up a debate he's had regularly about whether having subtitles on during a movie adds or detracts from the whole experience. So get your ass online, pick out your favorite movie, and press play with 99 of your other friends as we head into our own watch party known as episode 253 of Mind Gap Podcast. Mind Gap Podcast. Welcome to Mind Gap Podcast, everybody. We are joined today by a super special guest, a wonderful fan of the podcast and the Twitch stream. Please welcome Seth. How do you pronounce your last name?
Trammell.
Trammell. I didn't know if there's a Trammell.
It's a tough
Nailed
one.
it.
Nobody can spell
Nailed
it.
Seth
You're good.
Trammell, also known as Slutty Bartfast 20. He hangs out on the stream a lot. He's a very funny guy, and we are so thankful to have you here. Welcome, Seth. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. You know, long-time listener, first-time caller.
We're so glad to have you here. Jared says, why does this look like a maths equation? Doug plus Justin equals Seth.
You're welcome. We finally figured out a way to make math interesting.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Doug plus Justin equals Seth. Welcome, Seth. We're so happy to have you here. Super exciting.
Very glad to be here.
And you're
Yeah,
all
for those of
Go ahead,
for those of you who follow along, yeah, like Doug said, you might know him better as Slotty Bartfast. He is the one who crushes Joke Boat constantly and is just
and
one
Quiplash.
silly motherfucker.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's
It's
been a
special
great
talent of mine.
follower on our role-playing game extravaganzas where Justin, you basically coined the Dungeon Karens, which, for the record, is going down moving forward. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's definitely happening.
That's a thing now.
Get the trademark on that.
That's right. Absolutely.
And yes, and also you might know him from being very mean to Drew.
Well,
When I get the chance.
First of all, those, when we did the Joke Boat, like, that was the inside line, which was like, let's shit on each other. And particularly, let's shit on Drew. And those jokes landed very strongly. So I was a huge fan of that. So congratulations. Yeah. Well done.
It becomes natural.
Awesome. I love it. So just speaking of like the other streams and stuff like that, in case you all don't know, we do a video game Twitch stream every Saturday at 8 p.m. Central. And this Saturday, the 4th of July, we will be doing a Jackbox Party Pack extravaganza. I got Jackbox Party Pack 3. I got Jackbox Party Pack 5 and 6. I picked up 5 because it was on sale on Steam. So the world is our silly oyster. We've got a lot of great stuff that we can play.
Not that Doug's bragging, but he's got a lot of Jackboxes.
I'm not bragging. I just want you all to come play with us because it's going to be fun. There's a battle rap one. Seth, how's your battle rap these days?
No.
On par with my joke boats. I would have to say.
Can't wait. It's called Man vs. City. Like Man verse dropping those cities. That's not how it goes. But essentially, you are like competing against each other in some battle raps, and it's pretty wild. So I think it's going to be great, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Plus, we've got Quiplash. We've got thanks for the follow, Married with X Gaming. Or subscription, I should say.
Subscribe, yeah.
Subscribe. Very kind of you. And, it's just going to be, we got Quiplash. We've got the murder trivia. We've got Guespionage. If we wanted a joke boat, we got joke boat. We got all sorts of stuff.
Justin, when do you see your comedy stylings on a joke boat or a Quiplash?
Yeah, because Doug usually plays just moderator, right? Or host.
I play sometimes.
Oh, no, he gets in there.
Does he? All right.
I get in there when there's not enough people. I hop in. But when there's a lot of people, I'm like, hey, I'll just host. I'm happy to be the host of things. But if there's one thing that's always missing, Justin, it's you. People are always like, where's Justin? Where is he?
Look, people can't want more of you if you're around all the time. So I like to keep myself very sparse. So people are just like, man, I really, that guy, we want him.
When we did the t-shirt game, it was TKO. It was one of the t-shirt designs was "Where's Justin?" and there was an emu on it. So it's like, it was
hashtag the emu ate him.
Hashtag the emu wars are real.
Justin got drafted to go fight in the emu war. He'll be coming back never because he's gonna die. They're crafty little fucks.
Still one of my favorite things too. So very
Seth,
excited.
Do you think you would survive in the emu war?
I think it's a great question. Not being Australian, I feel like I have a natural advantage.
For those of you who don't know, let me start this. For those of you who don't know,
sorry, I got to be more on top of that one tonight.
I did use that a lot tonight, I can tell. For those of you who are not aware, and I'm aware of this only because during one of our video game streams, someone brought up the emu war, and this is apparently a thing that happened in Australia in the early 1900s, early to middle 1900s, where a bunch of emus, I don't know how to put this. They went to war with humans, and humans lost. It was one of those things where the emus, the guns, they could just eat up so many bullets, and it didn't matter. Machine guns didn't fire that well. They were apparently very tactical. And it's a very, I was reading from the Wikipedia while we were playing games. So it is a real thing.
You know how
it was a route.
That's right.
Very
different
much so.
than a route.
A route.
Yeah. Where they just fuck the emus.
Different than a rootin' tootin' good time.
A rootin' tootin' good time with the emus. Where are you going on vacation? I'm gonna go Australia. I hear they got some real loose emus down there, man.
Oh God.
Yeah.
God, that looks so gross and phallic. There it is. There's my boy. There's my boy. Thank you for that. Real quick, I want to give a shout out. If you guys also are aware, we do have some merch. teespring.com/store/2E8. That's the number 2, the letter E, the number 8. We've got some shirts there. I had a couple folks. I was on a Zoom call just before this with some friends, and they're like, "Where are you going tonight?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to do a podcast." They're like, "Can we be on your podcast?" I was like, "Sure, if you want to." And they're like, "Will you give us a shout out?" I was like, "Absolutely." And they're like, "Wait, you have merch?" And they bought a couple of shirts. And I was like, we have one called "I Will Haunt Your Butt." And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "It's got an adorable...
I will haunt your butt."
Got an adorable little ghost on it. And we got "I Will Haunt Your Butt" shirt purchased. So, ta-da! You could be one of those people too. So,
the originator of that shirt now owns that shirt.
Yes. We gifted him a shirt because, God damn it, he earned it. because he coined the term, the phrase. He termed
Yeah.
the phrase. He got a shirt. So if
You
you guys
carry emu sizes.
So if you're looking to get some of your own Mind Gap stuff, head on down. If you're on Twitch, there's a panel right down below. If you're listening, it's teespring.com/stores/2, the letter E, the number 8. So yeah, just want to get that out of the way. Booyah, Kasha.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Married with Gaming, you need to get that shirt for sure. So Justin,
Yes.
what do you know about these Amazon watch parties?
I know that I think they're a really cool thing. I think more people should be doing things like this, especially in quarantine. I think it's a crime that it took so long for this to start to become more prolific. That's what I know. What do you know, Seth?
Well, much like you, I know that, yeah, it took way too long.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
It seems like a novel idea that they just like, oh no, now we've got to figure this out really quick because everybody wants to do it.
Right.
And that's what Amazon did. They figured it out really quick, it looks like. And it's in beta, and you can only do it on a browser, but not Safari. So,
so it won't let.
Does
that
anyone
makes
use
sense.
Safari?
I
don't know. I never used an Apple, so I don't know if it's any good at all.
I'll say this: it has grown by leaps and bounds. It's much better than it was Safari.
So it's like Internet Explorer.
It's still no Chrome, right? Exactly. Yes, it's the new Internet Explorer, and Internet Explorer and Edge are now Edge.
Right.
Well, good for them.
Yeah, work real quick on Microsoft Edge. Microsoft can just stop with their browsers, as far as I'm concerned.
Right?
They just call it quits because I have a PC and my lock screen all the time it switches up all the time. It's a very beautiful photo of some sort, either a landscape or something of that. And a lot of times it'll be like, you want to see more of these photos? And one day I was like, sure. I click on it. It's like, you just downloaded Microsoft Edge. And I was like, what the fuck? I just want to see if there was more photos. I'm like, but you have to download Edge. And we did it for you already. Do you like it? Do you like what you see? I'm like, how do I get this off my computer? I don't want Microsoft Edge. It's like, we're your default browser now. Congratulations. We're coming for you.
And you're going to use Bing from now on.
It's not even Bing. Yeah, right? Bing's another one. It's just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, didn't they get caught
suck it.
using Google search results to feed their own search results?
Did they really?
I feel like that. Yeah, I feel like that was a thing. Like, they were like using Google to feed out their own search results.
That would not surprise me in the slightest.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't like Google. I don't like all the stuff that they, capture. But, God damn it, they're good at what they do. You know what I mean? Like, they're really good at what
this
they
is
do.
the same. This is the same thing that you have with Disney, Doug. Is that you're like, look, Disney is not a clean company in the slightest, but fuck if they're not good at what they do.
There's blood on their hands. Okay,
there's blood on those mouse hands.
There is, inside and out. They've been places. They've been in holes.
Speaking of blood in your hands, Amazon. Speaking of Amazon, Amazon Watch Party. Back.
And we're back.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but
it's an elegant solution.
Yes.
More elegant, at least, than what Drew and I were doing a month back or so, which was basically being on the phone saying, all right, hit start in 5, 4, 3. But it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were like a half second off in most cases.
That's not
maybe
bad.
2 to 3, but it worked. Now it's like one person's in control. They can hit play. They can hit pause. They choose what we watch. And there's a handy little chat bar on the side, which is my most used feature in such a thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's weird.
I feel like if you're going to watch movies together.
I feel like people have been doing this before. Like, there's like a Chrome extension, right? That allowed people to do this?
I think for Netflix.
That was for Netflix Watch Party.
It wasn't technically Netflix, though.
No, it was a separate website.
Netflix has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, because I remember years ago just seeing people do this. I'm like, oh, I wonder what that is, and then just didn't explore it any further.
So years and years ago, there was on Xbox 360, I think, they did, I think on the Netflix, it was either integrated into the Xbox or on the Netflix app. I remember my cousin and I did a theater watch party where I queued something up and it queued up for him. And we were able to, and our little avatars were sitting in like movie theater seats. Mm-hmm. And it was a great concept. But again, that was at least 7 or 8 years ago. So why that has not become more prevalent in today's, society. I have no idea why it took this long.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fascinated by it. I honestly put this out here to our listeners and to also our Twitch chat. If you guys ever want to do that, let's pick a night. Let's find a movie. Let's watch something. Could be fun. Could be interesting. I'd be down for that.
So I was scanning the titles because you can't do anything that you have to rent or buy. It has to be available on Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it limits you a little bit, but there's some great stuff out there.
Yeah.
Dirty Dancing, Footloose.
Come on.
Universal Soldier. I think we brought that up. What was that, last week?
What about Patriot Act? Is Patriot Act on there?
I didn't see it.
Or
don't mess with the Zohan. Don't mess with the Zohan.
Right?
I mean,
a lot of people would argue that Uncut Gems is Sandler's finest performance. I disagree. I strongly disagree.
Have you seen Zohan?
And I said Patriot Act. I meant Patriot Games. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the Hassan
The Patriot Act is what's watching us while we watch the movie.
That's right. I was like, Patriot Act. I'm like, that's not what it is.
Right.
How about Clear and Present Danger? I just love these Harrison Ford movies. They're great. Jack Ryan. All day.
See, I think I'm the sort where I'd almost rather do that. Like, if I'm going to watch a movie with people, friends, I want to watch an awful movie.
Like Sister Act
because
2?
I want to make smart-ass remarks throughout the entire thing.
Of course.
Yes.
It's your own
If
Mystery
you know
Science
me,
Theater 3000.
Yeah. Exactly. Sitting on the side, sniping at the actors.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, though. When you're watching with Drew, how does he take that? Because I know he takes his movies very seriously.
Except for Marvel movie. Well, actually, no. Marvel is included in that, sure.
I mean, I'm sure, he takes them seriously. He always whines there's too much blue screen or green screen. Anyway. So we were watching A Killing of a Sacred Deer on his recommendation. And I'm spending the whole time, like, I don't know if anybody's seen that movie. It's interesting. I'll say that. But the acting is in the dialogue is very interesting. It's like people that were programmed to be human are now acting human.
Nice.
And so I'm bringing that up, and Drew's, his focus is instead on how the use of wide angle lenses and the importance to this particular director and how often he uses it. And, in the meantime, I'm like, oh my God, Colin Farrell, what the hell have you done with your career? So yeah, it's an interesting tit for tat.
We've got Jervis here, all the way from Australia, saying, "Don't you dare talk shit about Sister Act 2." Sir, is this another Superman Returns we got going on here? He said that movie was a gift from God. Is that a pun? I don't get it.
I think
which ranks higher? Seriously, Jared.
Yeah, which one? You can only pick one. Is it Superman Returns or Sister Act 2? What's your choice? It's the good son. You're holding onto each of them in one arm over a cliff. You got to let one of them go.
Jervis choice.
Jervis choice.
I'm sorry. If we're going to refer to it, I'd like to refer to it as its full Christian name, Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit. Please and thank you. I won't accept anything less. Jervis, if you truly liked this, you would refer to it by its full name.
Exactly.
Poking holes in this argument.
We've got the Avengers on here. We could always just watch that.
We could.
Yeah.
Should we? Do you think if we did that, would we? I mean, he's on here. If all four of us got together, Drew, would you watch that with us? Would you watch the? Seth, are you into Marvel movies or superhero movies?
Yes,
I'm just checking.
I've joined your brigade against Drew in his distaste for them. I just don't get it. And he's one of those people too. Like, it's not enough that he doesn't like Marvel. Mm-hmm. He also states that DC is somehow better. And I don't follow his logic.
I'd love to know more about that.
Well, he's said that Drew, he's a dark guy. He likes a little bit more brooding he's talked about that. He's said that he likes DC because they go a little bit darker.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's also stated that since they don't use New York and they don't destroy New York, he's got something against Marvel destroying New York. He just doesn't like the idea. It's like Metropolis is somehow different, or Gotham is somehow different.
He's got an affinity for New York, man. That just is what it is.
He doesn't strike me as a New York kind of guy.
over there in San
It's
Diego.
like cool as we just kill the conversation. Like, I don't have to say, man, he loves it.
Yep.
He's
Yeah,
ride or
no,
die in New York, you know?
But yeah, in terms of Marvel, I've got my Vitruvian Spider-Man on today.
Awesome.
Oh, you
Black
Black
do?
Panther.
Yeah.
So,
I told Justin I was going to break out
Redwoods?
my finest Spider-Man shirt for the evening.
nice. Are you who's your favorite superhero in the Marvel universe? Or what's your favorite comic or
So it's tough. Recently, this is really just because of the cinematic universe, I have taken such an extreme liking to Ant-Man.
Oh, nice.
And he's like vaulted up the rankings to be like my favorite to watch and enjoy. And I think it's all Paul Rudd's fault.
Of course it is.
Most things
I
are.
just can't get enough of that guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
he is hands down like an unsung hero in that Marvel universe. Like Paul Rudd is amazing as Scott Lang, and he is like when he's in the Avengers and Endgame and stuff like that, and even Civil War, he's just like, I don't know why I'm here. Like I feel like he feels like that as an actor as well as his character,
Right.
and he's just the part he's just shaking Captain America's hand. He's like, oh, Captain America, wow. I'm shaking your hand too long. Like he's just everything about him. He just oozes that likable charm. And at the same time, when he gets serious, like I love the part in Endgame where he comes out of the quantum realm and he's like, what happened? And he gets to see his daughter and he has a very beautiful moment. And then you see him again at the Avengers hideout and he's like, is that anyone's sandwich? As he's talking about like quantum physics and all that sort of stuff. Like I love, he's just the absolute best. He's a nice breath of reality. I feel like his character is us in a lot of ways where we're like, I don't know what's happening, but we're along for the ride.
Right. He's a normal guy along a bunch of battle-hardened warriors.
Right. Just knowing full well that he should not be there.
Just like,
Right.
again,
Like,
Civil
I can
War,
get big or small, but
and everyone gives
I don't know
him
how to
shit
handle it
too, like
emotionally.
nonstop. They're like, hey, what's up, regular size man? Or they call him Tic Tac. Or I just love the part where he gets on Hawkeye's arrow and then in Civil War he's like, you ready? He goes, yeah, sure thing, arrow guy. Let's do this. Like he just doesn't know anyone's names. He's like, but hey, I'm all here for it. He's so great. I agree. Like Ant-Man's one of those movies, like both those movies just unfortunately came out after a big Avengers movie. So I don't think they quite got the love that they deserved, but they were very enjoyable. One followed Age of Ultron and the other one followed Infinity War. Like
It's a big second act.
It's a tough one to do, but
Yeah.
I do think the first Ant-Man was nice because it was a heist movie, right? You just went from Age of Ultron to it's a heist, Like we're just doing this very simple heist movie. In Age of Ultron, again, it's like, after Infinity War, it's like, I don't know really what to say after everyone just got dusted away here, but let's watch this and have some fun.
Yeah. It was a nice pick-me-up.
Yeah.
We all need a laugh after that bit.
Yeah.
I feel like we all need to watch Ant-Man right now for a laugh because Lord knows
Is
we all
Ant-Man
need to
on
laugh now.
Amazon? What do we got here?
Let's find that out. Speaking of Amazon, back to Amazon Watch Party. So have you and Drew actually used this or have you only done the Discord thing so far?
We have only done disjointed discords, is what I should say. We've done so the first movie was my choice, and the rules were it had to be a movie neither one of us has seen.
Okay.
And on a lark, I chose Clue, starring the incomparable Tim Curry.
Nice.
I don't know. I'd always heard like it's some kind of cult movie, and so I said, let's watch it. Drew, not terribly amused by it. Said my next choice better be better. And so I followed that up with the Taika's movie, Hunt for the Wilder People.
Nice.
Yes.
Hunt for the Wilder Men. And needless to say, I knocked that one out.
Nice.
And then he comes at me with Killing of a Sacred Deer, which
And
was,
what
a
was
Greek
your
man's
response to
interpretation
him?
of Americans and some kind of weird mythology.
I love
It's
that. It's a good summarization.
I could not
of
have
that
written a
film.
better review.
It's up on IMDb right now.
Did you tell him that he better come stronger with his next recommendation?
I didn't get the chance. It was shortly after that Max joined us. So I figured I'd give him a break.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's fair. I honestly think that this is probably the way I'm seeing everything kind of playing out as far as all the streaming services and trying to kind of cutting edge. What's next? The fact that every company seems to have their own streaming service now, and also the fact that this quarantine doesn't look like it's going away anytime in the near future. I feel like
Tell
this
that
is
to
the next
Florida.
logical, right? Am I right? Florida. Florida.
Oh, I hope that's
Anyway.
a clip. Time code.
29 minutes in.
All right.
No, I lost my train of thought. No, the quarantine's not going away anytime soon. This to me looks like the next logical step in the evolution of what everyone's doing. I feel like every streaming service is going to start to come out with something like this. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I feel like they'd better. I mean, it's
threat has been made
what
right
makes
now.
sense right now.
Yeah, right.
Like how to draw more people to your platform. Group watching parties.
Mm-hmm.
Add some, cute little emojis that are, unique to your whatever brand. Like Disney Plus should be crushing that.
Right.
Oh,
some kind of
You're right. Absolutely.
Frozen watch parties or whatever. Just,
right?
Oh, dude, imagine a launch party with Mandalorian or Falcon and Winter Soldier or, all the other shows they got coming up.
That would be great. But again, to Seth's point, I think the demographic that is like mostly Disney stuff, like they would be killing that. If all of the parents could sit their kids in front of a TV and have a group watch party, you could knock out 2 hours of your day that you get back.
How cool is that? Yeah, because I could say, and Seth, you probably have noticed this to some degree too. Like, I mean, my daughter goes to daycare, but she's missing school really bad right now. There's been a couple of times where she's gotten to do school, put together a couple of events, and she had like little dance parties, and she absolutely loved it. I was like, what if? She's probably still a little too young for that, but like, what if, there was something that was that simple, like for her to sit down with her friends and like watch, like, I don't know, Mulan or whatever the hell she's watching these days, or Avatar: The Last Airbender, preferably.
Right.
Started rewatching that
last
again.
night.
She started rewatching it again, which is a good sign. We were having dinner the other night. She's like, Dad, what stance does Zuko use? And I was like, oh, yay, yay, yay. I'm so happy. Because she hasn't seen it in a couple of weeks. I was like, you remember Prince Zuko's name? Like, yeah, why couldn't he go home? I was like, oh, because he had to get his honor back. And she goes, no. I was like, well, what is it? And what'd she say? She's like, because he has to catch the Avatar. I'm like, it's the same thing, but don't argue with me about Avatar: The Last Airbender, child. I know how this works.
When I get a boifriend, will I turn into the moon?
Yeah, that's a weird message.
I get all of these references.
That's a weird message, isn't it? If you love someone, you'll turn into the moon. Justin, seriously, you got to watch that show, man. You have to.
Totally. I'm on it. A dull moment says, aside from the whole quarantine scenario, I feel like it's an attempt to recreate the communal movie watching experience, which is what movie theaters are for.
I vote this replaces them for now.
Yeah.
So do you think, because we talked about this a couple weeks ago, Seth, what are your feelings on the whole movie theater experience? Do you think it's still necessary? Do you think that they're there, but we have much less of a need for them? Where is your stance on that?
I mean, I'm a homebody. So going out to the theater was never really my thing. Like, the last couple movies I've been to the theater to see were because of my daughter. And it was the live action-ish Lion King. And I think before that it was a My Little Pony movie.
Oof.
So, yeah.
Earbuds in, podcast on. That's what I would be doing.
I feel like aside from the popcorn, I can do better. I can do as well at home. It's like the same with sports. I could go out to the stadiums and watch sports live, but I got a better seat at home. So for me, it's not like this thing I'm losing. But I get, seeing it the way they intended it to be seen, and the artists loving that kind of thing. But I feel like for now, at the very least, this kind of software or this kind of workaround can replace that. Like when there are big premieres, like the Will Ferrell movie that just came out on Netflix, the Eurovision.
Yeah, what are they? They're dancers, skiers. What are they?
Musicians.
So Eurovision,
musicians. That's what it is.
Yeah, is this delightful thing that sweeps across Europe every year.
Is it
where
real?
It's kind of like, oh yeah, like the couple years I lived over there, like every country is fully invested.
I had no idea this was actually a thing.
Yes, totally real thing, and it's some of the worst entertainment you will ever see in your life. It's like just some of the schmaltziest stuff sometimes, but it's fantastic. It's like everybody. It's like almost as big as the World Cup to many of these countries. Like they take it very seriously, and so yeah, it's based on a real thing. And I think Will Ferrell has his wife's Swedish, so I'm guessing that's where he's drawn his inspiration.
That makes sense because she is. Yeah, absolutely. Jared asked,
like premiere that movie and have like this kind of like this room, this link that everybody who wants to watch it the day it premieres at the same time go into. Then you got this like chat on the side that everybody can join into, and make it kind of more of an experience instead of just like what was it, the Trolls World Tour, where it just like all of a sudden it's like boom, it's there one day, and I'll get around to it. Make it an experience again.
I mean, I could see a difficult part if like with the Trolls thing, that one was obviously a rental, whereas Netflix's stuff you just have to have the subscription and you're good to go. So I can see Netflix transitioning maybe easier into that, but I do think that there's got to be a way to set, like, basically you would buy a rental for a specific time and you would show up at that time and everyone else would be in that room with you. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, like you pick a slot. You show up at the time, and then you've got a room of, however many thousand people have decided that they want that time too. You get the chat going on the side, which, we all know how those can go. Some extra entertainment there.
Yeah.
And, you can always choose to turn it off if you don't want it.
I like the idea of that because, I disagree a little bit with Dual Moment here saying that, there's a communal movie watching experience, because there is to some extent. You're in a theater with other people, and that can enhance it, right? I know there's been times where watching the Avengers movie, right? The first Avengers movie I saw, the very first one was, when Hulk is smashing Loki, the crowd went nuts. Endgame, people were going crazy. Infinity War, when Thor shows up, everyone's losing their minds. Like there's a very much this communal feeling. But for the most part, I find other people very distracting. So I don't want it to be a communal experience a lot of the time too. Like I want to watch the movie and I want people to shut the fuck up, so I don't have to listen to the kid next to me going in his movable chair or being like shouting out lines to the fucking movie where I'm like, I know this is a movie. I saw the trailer too. Shut the fuck up. Like,
yeah, but Doug, you are a crotchety old man.
I'm not a crotchety old man. That kid was a little shit, and he ruined Civil War for me. He ruined it for me.
Can't both be true.
I can't watch Civil War without watching that opening, not the cold open, but the opening sequence when they're down in Africa. And there's just the African guard. Don't take this away from me. Don't take this away from me, Justin. Don't take this away from me. Somewhere Rob is lactating.
I think Drew just got up to leave.
It's like the kid sees this he's an African guard guarding this disease center, and he goes, "It's War Machine. It's Rhodey." I was like, "Is that racist? Is that racist that he just sees a black guy and goes, that's Rhodey?" I was like, "Someone's not going to correct this kid. No one's going to stop him."
Did you step in?
No, because I'm a stranger, Justin. That's how you get arrested. Okay, you're killing on the soundboard. Killing it. You're killing it. This guy is killing it. So, but anyway, back to my point. I love the idea of a watch party because you can capture some of that. I love the idea of people in chat watching something for the first time, like having that experience. Like, I know Christopher Nolan wants Tenet to be in the theaters, right? But how cool would it be to watch that? Like you, the three of us, and Drew, and anyone else on here that wants to watch, you know, oh God, I already saw what Dual Moment posted. I saw Home Depot. I already know where he's going with it. There's been an ongoing joke between us that Drew has always done, and it goes something like, Doug, I was just at Home Depot. I could have picked you up some 2x4s so you could build yourself a bridge and get over it. We've tried working that in, extending it, and all that sort of stuff. Well done. I appreciate it. But I would love, what if Tenet was here and we could watch it, all of us together, and chat about it and be like, what the fuck? You know, or then turn it off if you want, which is a very key point too, Seth, that you made. You got to be able to turn off the chat, because I also don't want to see
just
the whole
off
time.
to the side.
Yeah, just like, good. And other times you'd be like, what the fuck just happened? Did y'all see that? That was crazy. That'd be really, really cool.
I will say, I mean, we're not, I don't feel like, at least personally, I'm not anywhere near ready to go back to a theater, even though we're in phase 4 or whatever. I'm not. By the way, where you are, Seth, what phase are you in right now?
So we went color coded. We went, red, yellow, green. It was, I want to say, like last week that my particular county moved into green. Last one's in the state. So green is kind of like, you know, the most allowing, but already cases are starting to rise again. So I don't feel particularly like heading right back out into the void quite yet.
Yeah. And Doug, I can imagine with Natalie and with everyone, like it's going to be a good deal of time before you're comfortable going back to a theater.
I don't feel comfortable doing most things right now. It was just very interesting for me because
that's life.
I feel like this thing has really rocked me in a lot of ways. Like we've had, you know, family, they're like, hey, let's get together. I'm like, nah, I really don't feel comfortable doing it right now. And going to an enclosed space like that with a lot of people, I also just don't trust people to be taking care of themselves. You know, it's just, you know, the whole masks bullshit that's going on and stuff like that. Like, I don't trust it. I don't need it. I'm very much like Seth and like, oh, wait. As much as I would love to see Tenet in the theater, I'm like, fucking put it out. I'll buy it and I'll watch it at home. Totally fine with that. Like,
I couldn't agree more with you.
2 videos per day now of like entitled women screaming about being asked to put on a mask and why they shouldn't. So like that's probably like the only benefit now of going out is you might get to witness the next viral video live.
I don't need it.
Again, I can watch it just fine at home.
Yeah, I can watch it just fine. Like that sort of stuff, like I'm concerned about how I would react in real life if that was going down. I'm really concerned about. I know I would probably.
Do you think you'd snap?
I don't know, man. I would like to think that I'm going to be a typical Doug that's just going to be quiet and walk away because you don't know how fucking crazy people are. But at the same time, if someone's just not doing that and they're causing a scene, I'd be like, we want to see the fucking movie. Just put on the fucking mask. It's not hard. Just do it. Why do you have to be an asshole about it? Like, why?
I can't eat my popcorn if I've got my mask on.
Then don't eat popcorn. Sorry. It's a small sacrifice to go to the movies.
Right, and it's like one of the few foods you can actually just like slip it up under the mask.
Yeah, right.
It would work.
True. That's true.
Just get it in there, right? I don't know.
Really all you have to do is put a handful of popcorn in the mask, and it's just like it's like a feed.
It's like a feed bag. It's a fucking feed bag. I love it.
But no, Doug, I couldn't agree more with
you
in regards to in regards to something like it's a feed.
It's just like
popcorn falling out of
like popcorn feed mask or something about going to the movies. It's just someone that's like super excited. They just got a bunch of popcorn in their
hashtag movie masks.
You get to fill up down at the end. You're just like, you dump some more in for me.
It's like, come on.
You mix some raisinets in there.
3M comes out with this new mask.
You said you're in the same boat?
No, same boat as you with Tenet. Like there's no reason that it shouldn't be coming out. In joking aside, like I'm in agreement with you that there's a lot of times the theater experience can get ruined because of, you know, someone who's just doesn't have an awareness of social decorum.
Yeah.
And something like Tenet, which none of us are going to be going to see when the theaters when it comes out. I would love to see it, so put it out. Give us the option.
Well, that's why I'm like, you know, with the you know, like the live action remake of Mulan. I'm like, throw that shit on iTunes, man. Like, I'll buy that.
Disney Plus.
Put it on.
I was gonna say, like, it's gotta be Disney.
Like I'll buy it, I'll rent it, whatever. I'm totally cool with that. Natalie likes that cartoon, so I'm happy to do that. Like those sorts of things. I feel like I know a lot of these movie studios don't want to ruin the relationships with the theaters, but at the same time, I'm like, look, man, I think this is the time. I mean,
Well, AMC just announced that they might go under.
I wonder why.
I'm just saying, like, ruin your relationship with the theaters. The theaters, legitimately, I don't know how many are going to still be around.
All right, I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I want to bring it up again now after a little bit. Do you think the movie theater, like, where do we think that's going to end up? Like, is that going to be? I don't think it's going to die, but
no.
I mean, I can't imagine safely, like, feeling comfortably going back into a theater till 2021, like,
minimum until there's a vaccine.
Yeah, easily.
Ooh,
they're gonna have to adapt.
Yeah, go for it.
What's that, Seth?
They're gonna have to come up with something different than what they're doing.
Well, Dull Moment just brought it up.
Some kind of.
Yeah. He said the reemergence of drive-ins.
100%.
Yeah. That's well, I mean, Drew and I come from one of the few places where a drive-in was something we grew up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until the tornado took it, but different story.
Is that why he loves Twister so much?
Exactly.
Were you guys watching Twister when the tornado ripped through? Are we getting to the essence of what Drew is?
Oh, yes.
What is your essence?
Oh, my God.
Well, it's funny
I've only been to the drive-in once, and I loved it.
I've never been.
Absolutely loved it.
I mean, I still remember my first drive-in experience, Gremlins 2.
Do tell.
I mean, there's something about, you got this like little rickety tin box on the side of you that you're all huddled around because that's the only source for sound. So when you have a carload, usually you don't even stay in the car so much. You get out on a blanket next to it. Yeah. So you're all huddled around this little rickety like tin box where the sound comes from, and you're trying to you're just watching the big screen. I was like, I don't know, maybe 8 years old, and that movie scarred me at 8.
I
bet. I never looked at fuzzy things like a Furby when that came out years later. It was like flashbacks.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a great, unique experience that let's go ahead. Let's pave over the movie theaters and put in the drive-ins.
I love it. Because,
I'm into it.
You know, it's because I know right now there's a few comedians like Bert Kreischer is doing a comedy tour at drive-ins right now. He's
smart.
So people are they're coming in. He's on a stage that's also projected onto the big screen, and the audio's pumped through, and they're doing comedy shows like that. I'm like, that's fucking smart. That's fucking cool. I would totally do that. Like, what a great way to go about it. I mean, you guys have heard about concerts too, right? I think in Europe, some people.
I've heard of concerts.
You've heard of concerts.
Concerts. Right? Tell me more.
Well, here's the thing. There's this thing called music. Are you guys hip to this or what?
Are the teenagers into it?
They're dropping all the panties to it these days. It's crazy.
Is this a young thing?
Is this a young thing? We're gonna make
you're hip.
But like, I think they've had drive-in concerts. Like, guys are playing music, and I think they're also feeding it through like the radio as well, so you can turn it on, hear it that way too, which I think is cool.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah,
into some dead air.
Yeah. So I think it was, I don't know. I'm fascinated by that. Again, I think it's something where I don't know if we'll ever get back to what we were like before this, as far as jam-packed into places. I mean, I was going to take my daughter to Disney World in February for her birthday, but I 100% canceled that. Not doing it.
Yeah.
Heard about the reopening plans. I was just like, you know what? Nah, I'm not doing this right now. Like, it's just nah. It's not worth it. I was like, I'll wait 2 years or something.
Yeah, let the NBA try it out. Let them see how it works.
I can't imagine. Like, I know Disney's losing a crap ton of money every day that they're not open, but it's like, I mean, you have to make reservations for the parks. Like, you have to have a reservation. So it's like you have to say, I'm going to the park. I'll be entering at this time. And, which is, I guess, better because there's less capacity in the parks? ?
Yeah.
But there's no fast passes anymore, which makes sense because you got to make space for that sort of stuff. But I just think, I'm like, I don't trust that it's going to be, people aren't going to catch something, or it's just not going to be really safe altogether. It's just,
and it's Florida.
And it's Florida, no less. Like, no way.
That's the truth.
Yeah. The natural population there is just 3 degrees more dangerous.
So true.
It's not quite Australia, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, I was actually just gonna say the same thing. Dull moment. He goes, "I think Disney will be okay, Doug."
Yeah, well, I mean, I heard
when you're like, they're losing millions a day. I'm like, I almost want to play the crying sound effect again because they're fine.
Let me press F on the world's smallest keyboard.
I heard there was a rumor that Apple was thinking about buying them out at one point because their stock was dropping.
What?
A while ago. It was like when this thing hit because they were losing so much a day that they were getting devalued to the point where Apple was possibly considering like buying them.
Like one of their 10,000 arms that they have, out there, or like the whole thing.
Again, don't know for sure. But
that would have been ridiculous.
That would have made me very sad if that was the case.
Whoa.
So, yes.
I mean, they already do technically have a relationship. Like they're like third cousins.
Yeah. That kiss.
Like kissing cousins.
Yeah. You and I both went there. I love it.
Good
Let me
enough
tell you
for
about
Australia.
Apple and Disney. Sometimes when the mouse wakes up in the middle of the night and he's looking for a bite, wanders down to the kitchen. It's getting too real.
No, keep going. I'm
Okay.
there.
I love how every
He
episode
wanders
now
down.
includes like a Barry White interlude.
And then when Mickey Mouse goes down, he sees Apple laying on the couch, and he says,
I just poop ejaculated my moist missile.
wasn't the one I was going for, but I like it. It works. That was perfect.
Be on me, daddy.
That's also a good one.
Okay.
I was thinking, that's so gross and foul.
God, that
Yeah, I
was
can only
so
imagine if
gross.
Apple took
Phallic.
over.
Yes! All those were great. I didn't expect
I
the
was
poop
like,
ejaculated
I don't
one.
know which one he
And he
wants.
says, I just poop ejaculated my magic missile.
Moist missile, Doug.
That's right.
Yeah.
Moist.
Sorry.
You said it, Doug.
Sorry. My bad. I did say it, but it was a long time ago. And I was under duress.
I did want to bring something else up because this is very interesting, and I'm so glad, Seth, that you messaged this to me before we started. You said that you and Drew got into a little bit of a spat
As we do.
over how one watches certain things. I was in hardcore in one camp for a long time, and I have slowly drifted to the other camp. And so I want to open this up and just have this conversation. Subtitles while watching something on streaming.
I'm for him.
I know you're all in, and apparently it bothers Drew.
It's just not his thing. It's just like, like the Marvel thing. It's like, it's fun to disagree with me or something like that. But yeah, I got into it while I was learning German because it turns out a great way to learn another language is
Right.
to watch their TV with subtitles on.
Okay.
So I got into it then, and it's just like, now I just need everything with subtitles. And what I pointed out to him is there's things you miss out on if you don't have the subtitles on. Like, they define what kind of music you're currently listening to. So, like, you'll be watching the movie, and all of a sudden, like, a little tune comes on, like, da 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 da, and it'll say, like, jaunty tune. So now I know that's what a jaunty tune sounds like.
Well, I have to say, it is very much educational. From all the hentai that I've watched, I've learned so much more Japanese. So, I gotta tell you, it's very educational.
I'm sure it is, Senpai.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So, no, I have become more accustomed to having the subtitles on, and I'm more accustomed to it, but I still don't love them. So I agree because Drew says it's distracting. Jared says they block the bottom of the screen. I do find myself focusing more on reading than actually watching what's going on. And that bothers me, that it just pulls my attention all the time. The reason I typically have them on is if Beth is sleeping or if something's going on or she's on a call with someone. I don't know if our TV's going bad, if my ears are just going bad, but I have such a hard time. Like, the dialogue is mixed so low and the music is mixed so loud that I have to have it turned down because I don't want a music scene or a car crash or something to happen. and there's this giant sound, and I've got it up because I'm trying to hear the dialogue. So I'll just throw the subtitles on so I can have everything just low enough. If I've got the subtitles on, I can make out what they're saying a little bit better because I can read along if I need to. And so I've gotten accustomed because of that. But I do agree that they're distracting. Like I wish I didn't have to have them on.
Interesting, because Jervis says dubs over subs, and I used to think that way.
What the hell does that mean?
Means dubbing over.
In the anime parlance, it is a very big deal.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're talking about other foreign film. Got it.
And,
I was like, that doesn't help me.
And I used to be all for that because I was the same way where I'm like, I don't want to read the whole time, but it is it's more distracting to me that I'm like, that voice doesn't match that person. I know that it doesn't. That's fucked up. I think one of the first times I realized that was when I watched Let the Right One In, and I watched it with subtitles, and then I got it again so Jill could watch it, and it didn't have the subtitles. It just was dubbed. I'm like, fuck this movie. This is not what this girl sounds like. This is not what this boy sounds like. This is super distracting, and I don't like it. Like, when you can tell that the lips, if something is not synced up with audio, I lose my fucking mind. It drives me nuts. I actually learned that
Totally agree, Doug.
I could use my phone to actually, like, as a camera on, like, OBS and stuff like that, but there's an automatic latency delay with the audio, and I can't handle it. Like, you can fix it, but I'm like, if it's not on, I will lose my fucking mind. And I've tried a couple times, and I just see this, like, 200 millisecond delay, and I'm like, done. I'm out. So if you add to that where someone, is like, hi, how are you doing today? And there's, like, the mouth is still going. I'm like, nope, it's not. This is distracting.
Let me describe to all the listeners what just happened.
Nothing.
Doug was moving his lips in a different fashion than the words he was saying.
If you're familiar with the famous TV show Mr. Ed,
Yes.
it looked a lot like that.
I take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Do we have to put the peanut butter on your lips to make you do it, though?
Yes. For most things, yes. I'd say in my mind, it comes down to, like, if I've watched, Jill's watched some of the stuff too, but it's sometimes some Irish or some UK stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck did they just say? Like, I can't make out exactly what they're saying.
If you've ever watched Peaky Blinders, you need that shit.
Yeah, it's like there's some things where I'm like, huh? What? And there's sometimes where I don't mind it. Like, I used to find it distracting because I felt like I was just reading more than I was actually watching. But you're right. You do actually, I know you were kind of joking about the jaunty music, but sometimes I've actually caught dialogue that I normally probably wouldn't have heard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't realize that's what was said. And I appreciate sometimes. I think my natural preference is to not have them on, but if they're on, I'm not going to get mad either. Like, it depends, because if it's a movie I've seen a million times, I'm like, I don't need the subtitles on. Just leave that shit off. I'm good to go. But if it's, a relatively new movie and it's like, oh, I can't hear what's going on, I'd rather, especially when I was commuting on the train and stuff, I was like, I can't fucking hear what this is, so there's too much noise or whatever. I'm like, let's turn on the subtitles, but at least I can figure out what the hell's going on, and I prefer to do it that way. But yeah, I'm definitely neutral to neutral positive subtitles for sure.
So I saw Jared asked an interesting question in the chat. If you watched a Pokemon or Dragon Ball Z in Japanese, and I got to say, I'm very interested in that answer.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
No, Pokemon was a little bit.
Tread lightly.
I would have loved Pokemon if I was a little bit younger, because.
Now, have you tried your daughter on it?
No. I'm not a
because my 8-year-old's hooked.
I'm not a big fan of deck building games in general. I'm bad at them. I find them a little too random for my taste. I'm not very good at that sort of stuff. I've tried, Magic the Gathering a little bit. I've tried Hearthstone. I'm like, I'm good, because a little bit of it's pay to win. You gotta buy stuff to try and get that awesome card, and then you're like, bam.
I guess if you're talking about Pokemon the card game,
yeah,
as opposed to like the Nintendo or the Game Boy series.
Well, because I missed out on the card game, I never did it, and so when the games came out, I didn't even know they existed.
If it's not in cards, I won't do it.
No, but I was just like, I totally missed it. People were like, Pokemon. I'm like, okay, I understand it's a thing. Like, I got it, but I was never into it. So I never watched it or I never played it. And then Dragon Ball Z, I've watched 3 episodes of Dragon Ball Z, and they were in Italian. When I was traveling abroad.
That tracks.
I was traveling abroad, and I was in my room, and I was tired. I was like, what's on TV? I'm like, well, this looks interesting. What the fuck is this? So I watched Dragon Ball Z translated into Italian, and I had to try and figure out what the fuck was going on. Let me tell you something, guys. Trying to watch Dragon Ball Z in Italian with Italian subtitles, it's not really hard. It doesn't make a lot more sense. I mean, it was a good guess.
It doesn't help.
No, sure shit doesn't help at all. But yeah, so basically I missed out on both of those. I understand that they exist. I get the over 9,000, jokes. I get the, I am an abusive pet owner, for Pokemon. Like I get all that sort of stuff from those franchises, but no, I haven't partaken in them.
Partook.
Now what about, because I've tried to get Drew on this one, what I consider the magnum opus of all anime. Cowboy Bebop.
That's been recommended.
I've heard people talk about
numerous
that
times. Our very big nerd improv teacher, Tim Sasko, berated us for not watching that show yet. But I hear it's wonderful, and I have not seen it.
We should have a watch party. It's not on Amazon.
Oh, I was like, I'm down.
Oh my god!
I'd
Is it on Netflix?
Hulu has it.
Of course they do.
Get on that
Right.
shit.
The
Hulu.
one who doesn't offer anything.
Right. Well, technically, get on that shit Disney, because Disney now owns Hulu. So
That's true.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Spend some money, Disney.
am I right? You got to spend money to make money.
Oh,
I think.
hey, Danny's Kafuza. Welcome to the show. Says, what was that show on late nights back in the day? Not anime, but it was MXC, the Asian game show dubbed hilariously.
Oh yes,
That was awesome.
That dubbing
That was
I will
fantastic.
100% take.
Yeah.
That is amazing. I forgot about that show.
I thought
Most
about
Extreme
that not
Challenge.
that long
Yes.
ago, where I was like, that was a cool show, and then it immediately left my mind. I was probably trying to do something important, but I was like, I remember that, and then
Dude, that show was great.
that was an amazing show. I remember
Yeah.
just turning it on and being like, I don't know what this is, but I like it.
It took me so long to figure out what the premise was. I was like, oh, they're doing this. It's a joke on top of a joke, and then on top of one more joke. It's okay. I get it now.
Yeah.
It's
And then they tried
shockingly
to do it over in
highbrow
America.
humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tried to do it in America, and it was just like, of course, America's trying to
Yeah.
repurpose that stuff, and it just doesn't go as well.
No, not even a little bit. Yeah. They really hurt people on that show though. Like
course
there
they
was
did.
some
Well, that
really
water,
good.
it was like the nastiest looking water too, man. That was like
Oh,
muddy.
yeah.
Like who knows where they were actually
Oh,
filming that?
You're getting a staph infection
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
You're walking away with
Hey,
something.
if you're not familiar with Japanese game shows, pain and humiliation are their game.
I think-
Just
Seth-
like Doug.
But Seth, let me
Be
ask
on me,
you.
Daddy.
Let me ask you, why? Why
Why?
are they like that?
I mean, not being a Japanese person or student of Japanese culture, I just
I feel
know
like you're the
from what
perfect
I've
spokesman
seen,
for it. Tell us why.
it's got to be something deeply set in the culture that there's this huge Schadenfreude like gear inside them that they just love watching each other experience that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because they have just countless game shows that are like that. That's just
Yeah.
like they're like, hey, get out there and make a fool of yourself. We love it. I mean, we're the same way. We watch reality TV show, right?
I was gonna say,
Culture,
yeah. I feel like look
I
at
mean,
Honey Boo Boo.
right. I mean, we love to see a train wreck. So I mean,
Yeah.
I guess
But I feel like they're in on the joke and somehow we aren't.
I think you're
That
right.
is so well
I
said.
think you're
Yeah,
right.
100%.
I think you're very much right with that.
Yeah,
Fear
fear-
factor.
Yeah, that's exactly it too.
Yeah, very.
And I feel like
strange.
all that stuff that we did was just based off of stuff that they did, kind of jokingly, and we're like,
Oh.
no, let's do it for real.
We're like, this is a serious challenge. This is the most extreme challenge, which morphed into American Ninja Warrior.
Right.
Back when
Well-
Joe Rogan was a little more sane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
What was the one? Oh, Wipeout was the one that John Henson used to host on ABC with someone, which was very similar to the MXC. Very,
Yes.
very similar. It was like very bright, very big, like giant. Like it was the same kind of obstacles where you would have to jump on big round balls and you'd fall off into some like grody water. You know, that old chestnut.
The old.
Right, basically, they just repurposed Double Dare from Nickelodeon.
Dude.
That's it too. By the way, that show. Can we talk for a second about
Let's.
how fucking that show is amazing?
Yes.
I loved that show.
There was so
Mark
many of those
Summers.
great shows, right? There was that. There was Legend of the Hidden Temple. There was Guts.
Yes.
There was like
Silver Snakes all the way.
Oh, Guts.
That was so cool.
The
like,
Astro Crag or the
Yes.
Aggro Crag. That's what it was. Scaling
Wild
the
and Crazy
Aggro
Kids.
Crag.
Wild and Crazy Kids. Yeah, man, that was like, oh man, all the stuff that they did. There was that. I think it was called Finders Keepers. There was some sort of like.
I remember that one.
It was.
I didn't get on that one.
Oh, I remember. I think the biggest challenge at the end of it was you had to go and try and find this thing that was like there was like 6 or 7 rooms, and they hid an object in there. Kids would have to run through, and they had like 2 minutes to try and find it. It was a huge deal. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but I will find it. I will share the link.
And it will be posted.
And it was really cool, and that sort of stuff. But those shows were amazing. And really, if you think about it, those are definitely your most extreme challenge, your wipeouts.
Oh, yeah.
So it's basically that
Yeah.
for adults, you know?
Yeah. Jared and Dull Moment just both said the floor is lava.
I've heard about
That's the new
this.
one on Netflix.
Yeah.
I watched the trailer for it, and some of these people, I'm fairly certain they either broke their nose or they have lost a whole row of teeth because they are legitimately slamming their face down into shit. It looks so fucking painful.
Wow.
It's a cool premise because it's taking that thing everyone did as a kid and making it very real. And it just looks really painful.
And it's not real if it doesn't hurt.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
true.
They actually
'Cause
made a.
how many times did we all smack our faces into the fireplace and, gash our heads open? Just me? Okay.
Because, God damn it, we're not landing in that lava.
No, fuck that.
They
You
actually,
die.
They actually made a video game about that where the floor is lava and your whole goal is to jump around and not land in the lava. I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea, but interesting.
Yeah, fun for 20 minutes,
Yeah.
just like it was as a kid.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Seemed like a lot longer.
Yeah. There's a new show on Netflix that I'm very, very interested in seeing too. It's in kind of in the same vein of
It's in
the floor is
same
lava.
vein!
It's in the same vein.
That guy was so ahead of his time.
It's if I'm remembering it correctly, it's called The Throwdown.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Well done.
From that one.
Hydrate! I'm going to hydrate it also.
All right.
Didn't even need to drop it.
No. Got it.
So, in honor of our esteemed guest tonight, we're going to give a previous Throwdown loser the chance to redeem themselves.
Uh-oh.
So tonight's Throwdown is between Slotty Bartfast and A Dull Moment.
Oh my God. What?
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
what?
making him
Yeah.
determine his own throwdown fate?
Hell yeah.
I feel like that's a conflict of interest.
Doug, we have fought our 50-year-old selves versus our 25-year-old
I
selves.
guess.
We've done similar shit. Or here's the thing. Seth can just sit there and you and I can decide if he's not comfortable with it. I have a feeling I know which way Seth's going on this.
So wait, you want us to hash out the subtitles or not, or the Marvel versus, I don't know, whatever the heck else he prefers?
Yeah, no, I just want you two to both go into an arena of death and one of you walks
Oh.
out.
All right, well, I mean, I guess we'll have to pick a neutral site for that.
Like Kirksville,
How's Nebraska,
Missouri.
Drew?
There we go. Close enough. You said
What is it?
Nebraska. I said Missouri. Take your pick.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle.
All
Something
right.
flyover-y.
So let's set the scene here. You are both I'll tell you what, it's Chicago. That's neutral. You're both coming to Chicago.
That's not neutral.
No?
That guy's he's got a type advantage there.
A type advantage.
Well, okay, that's a preferred territory for him, I'll say.
You're
Fine,
both
Ohio.
visiting Doug. You're both visiting
There we
Doug's
go.
parents in Missouri.
Excellent.
Welcome to Missouri.
All right. So already you're both
Show
on
me
edge.
something.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Already you're both on edge. And so you pull in first to the driveway and you just cut Drew off. And he was like, he wants that prime parking spot. And so you get out of the car and you're like, oh, look at you, California, Mr. Lazy. Yeah, you got all laid back and shit in California. Because that's how you taunt him. And then he gets out of his car. He's like, dude, I was just coming into that spot, you motherfucker. And he gets out and he's just like,
He's like, I have a kid.
I need to be closer to the house. Right. Or we could do
You ain't doing with got kids.
a shopping mall in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
I mean, yeah,
That works
that's near
too.
and dear to us.
Yeah. But so yeah, so I mean it's gloves are off, fisticuffs. You guys are going at each other hardcore.
Oh,
What's going on here? What's going on?
First of all, Seth, how tall are you?
6'1".
I was like, you seem tall.
Yeah.
Ish. Yeah. Like, we are very evenly matched, I will say, in the height and reach department.
Similar
How do I know this,
wingspan?
you might ask? Well, look, we were kids. We get drunk together.
I like
You
where this
have
is
fights.
going. Please tell me
As
more.
kids?
Please tell me more. We're talking about reach and getting
I mean,
drunk.
so
and being
my big
kids.
question is, has Drew been allowed to have cheap vodka that he's mixed with milk?
Oh,
Because that was a favorite of his.
I was gonna. Well, time out. Can we just real quick? I want to hear more about that.
I think it was one time he mixed the cheap grocery store vodka. I think it's Kamchatka with 2% milk.
No,
Maybe it was skim. I don't know.
Skim milk is just water lying being about milk.
Thank you, Ron Swanson.
Thank you.
But yeah, I think that was like a one-time event. Did not end well because I think he ended up hopping in his hot tub as well. And if you can imagine, vodka, hot tub, milk mixtures never go well. But it made him angry.
His own doing made him angry.
Well, I mean, I think it was all the vodka. And then, maybe the heat from the hot tub. When people get hot, people get angry.
So what was he mad about? Was he mad about being hot?
Maybe. Or maybe mad that he made a bad choice
I'm
in
hot
mixing vodka
and I'm
milk.
wet.
What's going on? It's like a big bowl of soup, and I don't want to be in it.
I think you're right, though, Seth. He was probably mad about the fact that he chose to drink the combination of stuff.
Chosen poorly was what it was.
Yes.
Milk was a bad choice.
Let's say that you're both drunk on milk teenies.
Yes, as it
All
should
right.
be called.
Well, here's the thing, too. That's just one. If I'm not mistaken, is that not just one ingredient removed from a White Russian?
Right. You'd be surprised at how important that removed ingredient is.
What's the removed ingredient?
Kahlua.
Like Kahlua.
Yeah.
Not Kahlua, like coffee liqueur.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Cool. So you're both drunk on milk teenies and 2% milk teenies. Absolutely.
The whitest Russians.
Right. Exactly. And yeah, you guys should not have been driving, especially with children in the car. But it is what it is. And
it's Missouri, so that's legal, I think.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah. Or if you're at this Fort Wayne shopping mall, like you both went in to buy your significant others something from Claire's, you each grabbed the last of the barrettes you wanted, and it's going down in a Claire's in a mall in Fort Wayne.
I mean, he always had a speed advantage on me. Did he? Being a cross-country runner, I was never a runner. But I always fancied myself to be surprisingly fast. So, maybe he wouldn't see it coming. He wouldn't know how fast I was, since I look slower than I am.
Okay.
But, being a blatant, self-promotionist, I got to say I take him.
Doug, what are you
feeling?
feeling?
End of the day,
First of all, do we answer the question about how you knew about his reach? Like,
Oh yeah, no, we never did.
You got mad in the hot tub, but how do we know about his reach?
Oh, I mean, I think he swung. I'm pretty sure he took a swing.
I'm so fascinated by the story.
I know in our history I know I've taken swings at him for sure.
Okay.
So
the hatred is real.
And that was he brought a case of Old Style back from Chicago, and that was my first taste of that magical creature. I
take it.
Yeah, I know I took a swing at him at some point.
First of all, here's the equation: Old Style equals. There's no equation. Old Style equals swinging. That's really what it was.
Yeah. If you've ever been to Wrigley Field, you know that's true.
So again, I just can't get over this image of Drew being in a hot tub, drinking this disgusting drink, and just being mad about it, and then taking it out on you.
There were other people. Like nobody was safe. Like once that happened, like we were all kind of like, all right, his night's over.
And then you put him in the ground. You suplexed him. All right, his night's over.
Yeah, I was always the babysitter. I'm like, no, all right, let's get this guy to bed.
Nice. And you
give him a nice blanket.
Just slowly like, shh, go to sleep.
Yeah, when I wasn't swinging at him, I was the babysitter.
I'll say this, because I think this is the only possible way we'll ever get him back on is to defend his honor in a throwdown. I feel like I got to go with Seth on this one. And Drew, if you want to argue it, you got an open invite.
Well, I'd say this
there
much
you go.
too.
Come on, man.
Seth,
I'm right here.
You categorized him as being fast because he did cross country. That's more endurance. That's not explosive speed. You know what I mean? Like,
right, but I didn't run at all. Like I was like
short distances,
like,
man.
I got forced to do track and field, and I did like, all right, it's time shot and disc.
Me too.
That's for me.
Yeah, I did shot and disc. I'm right there with you.
So yeah, it's like I'm instinctively not a runner.
Short,
but you're right, short burst.
Exactly.
Speed.
And if it's close like that, now if you guys are like, if you're trying to catch him around town on foot, that's a different thing, So
Drew wants to clarify that none of this is true.
But I wouldn't trust his memory on those events. And if he wants to, he can come defend that up here.
There's an open platform for you, Drew. Open platform. I'll say this much about Drew. He's scrappy guy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a streak in there. Drew has a quiet rage.
My God, 100%.
There is a hurricane surrounding a volcano spewing hot magma right here. And he puts on a very, very nice, like, this is cool. I worked with him at a hotel, at a shitty hotel, and I got to see a lot of stuff happen. He would calmly just be like, sorry, we're not going to do that. But I know deep down inside, he was just sharpening a knife, just waiting for the moment. And he's like, someday I'm going to pull this out of my boot. I'm going to pull it out of my boot. You won't even see it coming. I'll just be like, get, and then you're going to be done. And I'll just be like, I don't know what happened. Bees, and he'll just shrug.
Damnedest thing.
Go back to it.
Murder hornets.
There is 100% a beautiful darkness just underneath that man's skin. And if you awaken that darkness,
you have to reckon with it.
You got to reckon with it. So, I'm not afraid to screech or scratch, he says.
That's, you know what? I've bore a witness to that one time, and I won't speak of it ever again.
These stories. This is amazing. I love
it. As much as I want to go with Seth to just enrage Drew to come back on this show, Doug makes some good points. I do think Drew's got this this hidden side that would be just horrifying. If you think Gremlins as an 8-year-old was terrifying, that holds nothing to this.
Don't get me wrong.
Look, I've known the guy for 30 years now. I know of what you speak. There is, he does have the quiet rage. And
is your voice trembling right now as you say that? You're like,
was that? Am I voting for him now? Well, I mean, a guy's got to have, faith in himself, just like you did when you were trying to cobble this podcast together earlier. I think I do have a slight reach advantage. We're close, but I got the slight advantage. I think I've got an overall strength advantage. And I think I've just got a surprising aspect of a short burst speed that he won't see coming. He says he watches horror movies, which I don't like. Is the contest to go into a building when we clearly shouldn't, or to open that door that we know has the murderer behind it? Because I don't know how that lends you skills.
Or you're trying to exorcise the demon. Like, I don't know what we're trying to do here. You're trying to run away from a supernatural character. I mean, if anything, you've watched a lot of failure. Maybe you're learning from that failure.
Right.
But I mean, maybe you're like, what I'm
not
going to do?
Mistakes,
I'm not going to
I don't
split
know.
up. I don't know. Like, I don't know what advantage. I'm with you right there. I mean, I don't know what you're implying there. But for the record, when I was describing Drew, I'm still for Seth. I still vote that Seth wins this. So, Jared, well spent. Highlighted his message. It says, just because you watch porn doesn't mean you're good at sex, Drew.
So are we going with Seth for the
I
win?
think we're going with Seth for the win here.
Seth for the win!
Wow. Did not see that one
What a
coming.
surprise.
That was a turn right at the last second.
Nice. I love it. That's
Good. My debate skills came in handy.
Drew, that being said, open invite. Come on anytime you want and defend yourself.
Absolutely.
Run down the Infinity Gauntlet.
Woo!
He doesn't know what that means.
No, he doesn't. But I do, and I realize the importance of it, and I respect it. I respect it so much. Well, this was just a hoot and a half, Seth. This was so much fun. I appreciate you taking the time to come hang out with us. Before we start closing up shop here, is there anything you'd recommend? Anything you'd like to promote? If you want people to follow you on social media, by all means, it's all there for you.
I mean,
in front of you.
I am very new on Instagram. If anybody cares about pictures of sourdough bread and pizza, you can come watch those.
Hey, that last pizza pic you posted looked really fucking good.
That should have been the throwdown. Chorizo as a pizza meat.
I messed that up. That's on me.
I'm all for it.
Very underrated.
Woo!
But yeah, pizza pics on Instagram. I'm probably gonna watch Knives Out. You said it last week. I saw that's on Amazon Prime. I'm probably gonna put together a watch party. Not gonna lie.
Nice, do it. I'm telling you.
Cool. So what? How can people find you on Instagram?
Slatted Bartfast. The wonderful moniker I took from the creator of Fjords is where you can find me everywhere.
I love it. That's awesome. Justin.
Yes.
You're the other person that's on this podcast right now.
That's true. Accurate.
Do you have anything you'd like to recommend for this week?
Yes. First off, I just want to say last night, Carl Reiner passed away at 98 years old of natural causes. So comedy world lost a fucking legend, huge heavy hitter, and he will be missed. And he was just a creative, just genius. So go familiarize yourself if you're not familiar with what he put together. Dick Van Dyke Show. He was one of the co-creators of that. To this day, I think is one of the funniest shows. Just go look up his body of work. He's really funny.
Jerk.
He's just a jerk.
Fucking he's dead. He's a jerk.
The movie. Come on, Steve Martin.
That too. So I was like, oh man, he's really got it out for this dead guy. Also, we watched Free Solo. And if you have any remote fear of heights, like I legitimately, I sweated through my socks. It was so fucking terrifying. So I strongly recommend watching it. It's fascinating, but kudos to the camera people who put it together. I think it was Jimmy Chin is the guy's name who directed and filmed it. It's amazing. So go watch Free Solo.
I'm assuming that's the in-universe video about people trying to make sure Han Solo gets freed from carbonite.
Yes. Yeah. Is there another?
I mean, I'm just pretty sure,
Oh,
Disney made it canon.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool. Yeah.
Just
that's
like
the one.
A small pocket of resistance. It's like Free Solo.
Yep.
He may be a smuggler, but he's got a heart of gold.
And it happens mostly in Cloud City, which is why the height thing that's where, and just so there's no confusion. Yeah. Free Solo.
Yeah. Got it. Very cool.
Got it. Cool.
Awesome.
Yep. Oh, that's horrible. Drew says Seth hates dead people. Hates.
Hmm.
That's horrible, man. I thought better of you.
What are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do?
Doug, what do you got to recommend?
Could they just get a life? Seriously.
Do it. Hit that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Low-hanging fruit.
I'd recommend. There's a song out right now, a single out by the band Knucklepuck, called "Breathe." Huge fan of them. They're a Chicago-based band. They're really great. They have an album coming out in September. Saw it hit on YouTube last week, and I pre-ordered the album because I love the song so much. It's Knucklepuck, "Breathe." Go check it out. A big fan. It stars the lead singer, or features the lead singer from Mayday Parade. It's worth a listen. Also, if you guys aren't aware, if you are on Steam, Steam all the time has like this big Steam summer sale, and there's a couple of games that if you want to get in on it, check them out because they're on sale. One of them is Pummel Party, which Seth has purchased and he's tried out. I've yet to try it out yet because I'm afraid I'm afraid of playing with strangers. I don't like it. But essentially,
we'll get together, Doug. We'll play together. I'll hold your hand for that one.
Yay! It's Violent Mario Party is basically what it is. And the other one is Project Winter. It's essentially a game of deception where people are in the Great White North or in an Arctic area. And there's like, I think, was it up to 8 people can play? And
yeah, at least that.
Yeah, and there's 1 to 2 traders who are essentially trying to sabotage people from leaving. And it seems very interesting. Again, haven't played it quite yet, but I think that'd be really great for our video game streams on Saturday. I'd love to put a whole people together. So if you're interested in playing along with us or trying that out, check out Pummel Party on Steam or the Project Winter. Either one of those. They're
dirt cheap, and I can tell you, if you've never purchased anything on Steam before, you can get those 2 games plus Tabletop Simulator. Steam knocks $5 off your whole purchase. It's like $28. You got 3 games. And Tabletop Simulator is like this endless amount of games on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, for less than $30, you've just given yourself so much entertainment.
I live for these sales because you can find ridiculous deals on games. So if you're interested, check it out. We'd love more than anything to, play with you guys. So check that out. Also, don't forget, check out our video game stream every Saturday, 8 p.m. This Saturday, July 4th, it's going to be a Jackbox extravaganza. Jackbox games, lots of fun stuff. So come hang out with us and celebrate the birth of America online with us. It'll be great. You're not going to be doing anything.
Where I got my start.
Fuck fireworks. So, because they've been shooting them off all the goddamn time for the last month.
Oh my God. Can we just do another hour and talk about that?
2 of them went off
one
while
guy
we were
in the
recording
neighborhood?
this. In my house. I'm like, anyway, I'm going to go off on a rant. You're going to have to play the baby noise here in just a little second. So, check us out, our video game stream. We have a blast. I love you all, you guys. A lot of our t-shirts and sound bites come from those events. So, it's been a lot of fun. Come hang out with us. Also, don't forget to follow us on our social medias at MindGap Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check out our YouTube channel for full podcast episodes, as well as highlights from our shows and from our streams, all that good stuff. And also, don't forget to follow Justin, because he also exists in zeros and ones.
That's true. On Instagram and Twitter at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the all-man realm, check us out on Apple Podcast, on Stitcher, on
Spotify,
and on Google Podcast, wherever you can find and consume the old casts of pod. You can share us, subscribe to us, rate us, review us, all those things. Please share, because that's the big one. Copy the link, paste it out. Doesn't take a lot, but it means a lot. Also, 2east8th.com/mindgap and 2east8th in general. We got some fun stuff happening. Seth's actually going to be helping us out in a little project on our website.
Yeah. Look for my blog posts coming up.
What? I don't know. Just keep your eyes on it, guys. And that's it for me.
Woo-woo! All right. So, Seth, once again, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you guys for having me. That was just as much, if not way more fun than sniping at you from the chat.
Love it.
Yay.
And we love you sniping at us from the chat. And for the record, you have an open invitation to join us at any time. You're
Absolutely.
We love having you hang out.
Thank you.
And it's been a pleasure meeting you and having you be part of our little community.
Yes. It felt awkward that you could only ever see me through that name that appeared on the screen. I felt like I got to know you guys, and yet I got to hide I got to hide on the side. So I felt like this was only fair that I opened myself up and let you take him back at me.
And not only that, not only was it fair,
poetic.
it was brave. It's a very brave
Yeah.
thing for you to do. Very proud of you, Seth. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And
Yeah,
I
a lot
just
of
want to
fun.
say, Justin, thank you.
Douglas, a big thank you to you.
To Twitch, thank you.
And listeners, as always, thank you.
And you all have a dandy fucking week.
Mind Gap Podcast.